Politics over the death of a young woman, a brutal murder. Rahul and Priyanka Gandhi were prevented from travelling to Hathras, detained and sent back, but not before being shoved and pushed around.
The milli before the arrest that saw policemen pushing Rahul Gandhi and then the Congress leader falling to the ground. Soon after, Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi were taken away by the police, halted in their march to Hathras to meet the family of the woman gang raped. But not before an argument with the police and supporters being lathi-charged by the police when they tried to stop the UP police car driving away with the Gandhis. The two were taken to a guest house in Greater Noida.
Why is Ajay Singh Bisht alias Adityanath so scared? We will fight, we will court arrest, we will walk unless and until justice is done to the daughters of UP.
The BJP dismissed the entire incident as a photo op.
जो एक्सप्रेसवे पे चल रहा है वो फोटो ऑप ही हो रहा है। आप लोग स्वयं देखेंगे फुटेज में कि किसने गिराया या कौन स्वयं गिर रहा है।
The Congress workers, many of them have been seriously beaten up in the police action that took place to remove the Congress workers from the Yamuna Expressway. This is the deployment. They have been circled by the UP police officers, UP police officials. Top police officers are also present here. No clarity as of now that what exactly is going to happen. These Congress leaders are not budging.
Well, amidst outrage over the rape and death of a young woman in Uttar Pradesh's Hathras, the UP police have claimed today that a forensic report of her viscera had proved that she was not raped or gang raped. Now, this claim comes 48 hours after her death, more than 15 days after the assault on the woman, allegedly by 4 upper caste men from her village, who are now under arrest and charged with murder and gang rape.
The anger and outrage over the murder and alleged gang rape of a 20-year-old woman in Hathras is growing. But the UP police today claimed a forensic report of the woman's viscera had proved that she was not raped or gang raped.
PM रिपोर्ट में जो मृत्यु का कारण आया है वो गले में चोट होने के कारण विधि विज्ञान प्रयोगशाला की रिपोर्ट भी अब प्राप्त हो गई है। जो सैंपल एकत्रित किए गए थे उसमें किसी तरह का स्पर्म और शुक्राणु नहीं पाया गया। कुछ लोगों के द्वारा प्रदेश में जातीय तनाव पैदा करने के लिए इस तरह की चीजें कराई गई।
2 days ago, an autopsy report prepared by Delhi's Safdarjung Hospital, where the woman died, said she was strangled, brutalized and suffered cervical spine injury. The final diagnosis did not mention rape, but the report referred to tears in her private parts.
A scientific officer at a state forensic department, after going through the postmortem report, told NDTV that the report does mention about old healed injuries to her private parts, though how old is not mentioned. The officer also added that the injuries might have healed during the medical treatment. The report does not commit to rape as it's not the cause of death and the serological report is awaited.
The first medical report on the woman's condition was prepared by government doctors at Aligarh, where she was initially admitted. The doctors said, and I quote, "On the basis of local examination, we are of the opinion that there are signs of use of force. However, opinion regarding penetrative intercourse is reserved pending availability of FSL reports."
The UP police's version is this. They first filed a case of attempt to murder on the basis of FIR registered by the woman's father. It was only a week later when the woman herself stated that she was raped, relevant sections were added, which is 376D of the IPC. But now the big question is, why is UP police talking about the FSL report only now, when the entire country is angry over the series of the incidents. With camera person Pawan Kumar and inputs from Alok Pandey, Arvind Gunasekar and Mukesh Singh Sengar, this is Arun Singh for NDTV.
All right, we've got a panel coming up, but before that, we've got the senior Congress leader Sachin Pilot with us. Sachin, we've seen that footage of Rahul Gandhi being apparently certainly shoved by the police. He fell down, he was detained, as was Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, taken back to Delhi. What is the intention now of the Congress as far as your reaction to this horrific attack is concerned?
Today is 1st of October. It's the eve of Mahatma Gandhi's birthday tomorrow. And I shudder to think what he must be thinking from up in the heavens. Because today we saw complete destruction of all semblance of humanity, propriety, decency, constitution, and democracy. Look at the series of events. A young woman's dying declaration is there on record. Then you have the police, lighting fire to a pyre at midnight, 2:30 in the morning, without the family. When you oppose this Dalit woman's rape and murder, you are shoved, pushed, arrested, detained. The government of UP, I think, has completely acted in a way which is unbecoming of any elected government. I mean, there have been previous governments in UP, but this particular one, if you remember a year ago, the Unnao case was the exact same. But today, the determination to cover up facts, to suppress the voice of people who want to talk about right and justice, is something that's unacceptable not just to the Congress party, but I think to the entire nation. So today, Yogi Adityanath's government in UP, I think, is a reflection of the mindset that prevails in Lucknow. The actions on the border with Mr. Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi also tell you a story that they are unwilling to allow people even to go and give condolences. In the other district, Balrampur, the BJP leaders can go and convey condolences and wipe tears, but the corona, the 144, the curfew, the detaining only happens to people in the opposition. Okay. So I think there is complete arrogance, there is a complete determination.
Okay, but Sachin, let me ask you this. What the BJP says is that this is essentially a photo op by the Congress leaders. How would you respond to that?
I mean, that's a very cheap shot, because what opportunity are we looking at? All we're saying is that please give justice to people who have been wronged. I think rape is a crime that must be dealt with severely. Anywhere in the country, people must be given the harshest punishment. But here the evidence and the sequence of events does not give you the faith that this government actually wants to get to the bottom of the truth. The families threatened by the district magistrate, it's on record. The dying declaration is on record. The families saying that we are scared for our lives, for our life and limb, it's on record. So I think if anybody is accepting that sort of governance in most despotic nations in the world, you'll never have sequence of events like we saw yesterday and today. So to say that this is being done just because elections are approaching or this is a photo op, I think the Congress and all of us have decided that not only we will get justice for this particular crime, but the government of the day has to be accountable to every citizen in Uttar Pradesh, and we'll ensure we do that in the coming days.
But Sachin, why only Uttar Pradesh? The state which you represent, Rajasthan, is number 2 in the list of top 7 states in terms of crimes against women. So in as much as it's important for all political leaders to express their concern in a Hathras type situation, will this be extended to concerns about crimes against women and even say Rajasthan?
I'm glad you asked that question, because the sexual assault on anybody, especially young women, young kids, is unacceptable in any civilized society. So if a rape does happen in Rajasthan or any other state, look at the action that we have done. Arrest the people, open inquiry, transparent system, full accountability and full ownership. What's lacking is that after the brutality with that young girl from Hathras, the action of the government are at complete odds with what is propriety, what is legal, what is rightful. And that is why the whole agitation and the whole animosity against this government across the nation. So if somebody is raped in Rajasthan, unfortunately, if it does happen, we will take full measures to make sure that the fullest extent of the law is applicable and those people are punished. In fact, even hanged in fast-track courts. We'll ensure that. We're not trying to hide evidence. We're not, burning bodies at midnight. We're not, putting a curfew on the village. No media can go. No politician can go. So there is a certain sort of sense of arrogance in that government, and I think they believe that they are above the law. And in fact, they are the law.
Final question, and this, Sachin, was really my first question. Right. What do Rahul and Priyanka Gandhi now intend to do? They've been prevented from going. This seems to be a wake-up call of sorts for the Congress party in Uttar Pradesh. It's certainly galvanized your local machinery at so many levels. Is this something the Congress party is going to, at one level reach out certainly to the family, but also sort of revive itself in a sense in Uttar Pradesh?
Well, we are a responsible opposition, not just in Uttar Pradesh, but all over the country. Now, I think Mr. Gandhi and Priyanka ji spoke about it, that they are there to share sorrow of that family, to make sure they get justice, so that those with no voice get support from where, they expect it. And we in the Congress are fully committed to giving justice to this particular lady's family and also otherwise. I don't think one should link it just with elections, because elections have come and gone, governments will come and go. But you can't have a functioning government act like that. Look at the way the ADG in UP police has said that now there was no rape. The body's been cremated. Where's the evidence? So, it's shocking that any government and any police administration can act in such a bizarre way without, throwing, it's actually...
So he bases that on the Forensic Science Laboratory report. And I understand that parts of his statement are very controversial. But he says it's based on a report. I'm just sort of saying what he said.
What I'm saying, Vishnu, is far more important, because in such hurry at 2:30 a.m., you don't have funeral after
Unless
sunset.
you have something to hide.
Of course, it's clear as day.
Okay.
Why would they not allow the family to be near the dead body? Even a dead body has rights. The final journey has to take place. They didn't allow that. Look at the brazen in this. That's where the angst and the anxiety and the hatred and the rage is coming from. I think the way they dealt with the situation, the evidence, the side of ignoring all facts and with no compassion. A woman has died, brutally killed. How can you allow a police administration to go and threaten their family? That district magistrate's comments are on video.
Right.
The whole apparatus, I think, is headed towards saving and protecting those perpetrators of crime as opposed to giving victims justice.
All right. Serious allegations, those. But thanks very much for raising several of these points at a time when crime against women, according to the statistics, just appears to be going up. Thank you very much, Sachin Pilot. Joining us now, Keshwar Desai. She's written on rape and gender issues extensively. The former Director General of Police of UP, Vikram Singh. Shant Prakash Jadhav, National Training in Charge of the SC Morcha of the BJP. Sabha Naqvi, the author and journalist, joins us as well. Shant Prakash Jadhav, do you believe that the remarks made by the district magistrate, which appear to be almost a threat to the family which has suffered so much, needs to be completely criticized? How could you have a district magistrate dealing with the family in this manner, saying that, look, the media will go, we are here, so watch out? That's what the implication was.
देखिए, डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट जी ने जिस तरीके से मृतक के परिवार को कहा है कि आप लोग बयान ना बदलें, क्योंकि उनके बयान बदलने से केस कमजोर होता है। अगर एक बयान पहले दिया है उन्होंने, उसके बाद में मीडिया के सामने दूसरा बयान आया, तीसरा बयान आया, अलग अलग बयान अगर इस तरीके से आएंगे तो स्वाभाविक बात है उसका जो केस के ऊपर जो है वो असर बुरा पड़ेगा, ठीक नहीं पड़ेगा। इसलिए उन्होंने ये बात कही है कि आप लोग जो है इस तरीके से बयान ना दें, जो बयान आपने दिए हैं उस पर कायम रहे। और चूंकि वो बयान लिखे जा चुके हैं, उसी पर तफ्तीश होगी, उसी पर निर्णय लिए जाएंगे। अब ये मीडिया ट्रायल, नया कैमरा देखा, नई बात कह दी, दूसरा कैमरा देखा, दूसरी बात कह दी, ऐसा कहने से मृतक के परिवार का केस जो है वो स्वतः ही कमजोर होता है।
Okay, Sabha, you're nodding your head. You disagree with this?
जी, मैं बहुत पोलाइटली इनसे एक बात कह दूं, एक दलित परिवार के साथ ये अत्याचार हुआ है सर। और विष्णु, 2 months back I wrote a column in a reputed daily about the increase in crimes against Dalits in Uttar Pradesh, right? In that case, the trigger was a woman who her family was forced to remove a fire from near Agra because the Thakurs came and they said you cannot be burnt here. It came out in the entire media. 2 months ago I wrote this about the increase in crimes against Dalits. So it's not just about sexual violence. It is also
about intimidation. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying it's about caste. It's a systemic problem we have all over the country. But in Uttar Pradesh, there is we are a broken republic currently on the eve of Gandhi Jayanti.
No, but Sabha, to the point.
Vishnu, let me finish.
To the point that he was making, go ahead.
He is talking about the family lying and coming out with a media narrative. The family, it's a Dalit family. who have lost their daughter, who could not witness the cremation of their daughter, to accuse them of lying is shameful. And I also want to say one thing: what the police gentleman in Uttar Pradesh said in the press conference, that all this news is being spread to create caste problems. Are we going to deny that?
Yeah, in fact, let me go across to Vikram Singh about that. Sir, this one remark which was made by a senior police officer in Uttar Pradesh, that a lot of this is being twisted when it's being reported, or others are saying that there was a rape, and that this is being deliberately to ratchet up the situation, make it more tense. Isn't a remark like that abominable? Why would anybody want to do that, particularly since the victim herself has said that she had been raped, and that's been it's a declaration, it's on a piece of paper, it's recorded evidence. So therefore, if a police officer now says that why are people twisting things by saying that there is a rape, is this not part of some sort of a cover-up?
Vishnuji, this remark was best avoided for three reasons. One, it is in extremely bad taste. Two, it is bad in law, because what has come in the dying declaration is the ultimate evidence, and no other person, not even any court, can disagree with unless there are very compelling reasons, and due to respect for the deceased, this was best avoided. The third, I think after the Nirbhaya case, 13th Criminal Law Amendment Act, the scope and the definition of rape has been expanded, and to say that, ladies will please forgive me with due sense of deference and regret, I would say that the absence of semen in the private parts does not mean that rape has not happened. There is digital rape.
Precisely.
There is rape of a type of insertion of other objects in the private parts that will also constitute rape. Then after 8 days, if the medical examination did, again, there would be no semen there. That is mean that there was no rape. That absolutely...
And an injury would heal. That's a point that's also been mentioned. That an injury would actually heal. Therefore, to say decisively that, look, there has been no rape because of the reasons which you mentioned, that seems terribly callous. I mean, shouldn't that be a conclusion at the end of some much longer process?
Absolutely. I mean, it was absolutely a knee-jerk reaction, to say the least, and that also is indicative of the fact that the officer could do well to brush up his knowledge of law and forensics and forensic medicine too. Little knowledge is a dangerous thing, and intelligent people rush in where angels fear to tread.
Kishwar Desai, after the Nirbhaya attack and murder, we came out with some of the most progressive laws in the country, where rapists face even the death penalty. And some of the laws were some of the most progressive, most wonderful, most forward-looking laws in the country. And then the number of rape cases kept going up. They kept going up, right? And people initially thought that people who were worried, this always took place. Now it is being reported much more. But these numbers continue to go up. It's not as if these are fresh numbers which are suddenly emerging because of the Nirbhaya sort of laws. These numbers are just going up. There doesn't seem to be any change. So therefore the question is this: we've got the laws, right? Why do these numbers keep rising in the manner in which they do?
Thank you, Vishnu. I think that's a very, very important question, a very sad one, as others have remarked on the eve of Gandhi Jayanti. When we are looking at a Dalit woman who's probably the, really, really the most ill-treated of all in our country. She's not only a woman, she's a Dalit, and then also probably surrounded by neighbors who are from the upper class, upper caste, which we have also heard about. And these are the people who have perpetuated, allegedly, these atrocities upon her. And she's now no more with us. So, yes, you're very right. In the 8 years since the Nirbhaya case took place, what have we learned? We have learned that unless we change this very patriarchal way of dealing with rape, which we have seen all along throughout the dealing of this poor girl's rape, everywhere we have seen that there has been an attempt to just treat it as though it was nothing very much that happened to her. She first they don't even register the FIR. They don't register her complaint. She's taken to a hospital, and she's kept in a general ward. And if you've seen the condition, some of those videos show us how she is kept. So, Vishnu, my question is that we may have excellent laws, and of course those laws, time and again, men have found loopholes in which to escape from. They often murder the girl, they kill the girl, as they have done in this case, so she's no longer around to accuse them, and then there can be a cover-up. But the worst of it all is the treatment of the rape victims, which I'm finding totally appalling. Okay. Where are the sensitive systems around her that can give her some kind of sympathy to her family? I have not seen in all the statements which the government has been putting out a single woman, with the family, somebody deputed to look after them, to see the trauma that they're going through. None of that with the girl either. So, we are dealing now with a very insensitive system that seems to assume that this is the normal thing that can happen to any woman anywhere. And then there can be, yes, a cover-up, and yes, there can be many reasons. So my point, Vishnu, can I just make one last point, is that for me, the violence with which a woman is attacked in this particular case, the violence is equivalent to any kind of sexual assault which would have happened, and I'm sure it did happen. So I do not see any reason that we can take away the whole issue by saying, oh, there was no rape. Look at the brutality that was inflicted upon her.
Ma'am, I just want to interrupt you for a second. Let me just go across to my other panelists as well, and just, an alert for all our panelists. Please don't use the word Dalit in this context. The rules state that scheduled caste has to be used. This is something which is a direction which has been there. We can debate the merits of that later on. But let me go across to Pawan Khera. Thanks very much for being with us, Mr. Khera. There are many who would say that in the BJP, for example, who have said that, look, this is nothing but a photo opportunity by the Gandhis today, trying as they are to galvanize the Congress party in Uttar Pradesh. So my question is this: they've been sent back, but will there be further attempts of Rahul and Priyanka to go to that village or do something along those lines?
Well, if a political party galvanizes its cadre and its narrative around an issue as important,
but has that happened?
Serious as this, may I please? Unless you want to finish your question, go ahead.
No. It's an interesting point. Has that happened, Mr. Khera, on this incident? Do you believe?
So there are two aspects to your question. A, the BJP's objection that why are we galvanizing our cadre on this issue? It's a surprising and a very strange accusation. What else are the issues? If on critical issues such as rape, women's security, if a political party doesn't come out on the roads, why the hell are we in politics? I want to ask that. We don't want to go on the roads demanding a demolition of a mosque and the building of a temple. These are not our issues. Our issues are women's safety, farmers, traders, unemployed youth, and stop as much as you want to stop us. We will still continue to come out on the roads and agitate and galvanize our cadre on these issues.
And would you do that in all states? Would you do that in all states?
Absolutely.
Including in Rajasthan?
Who stopped them? Who stopped the BJP from coming to Rajasthan? If they are so agitated about the crime in Rajasthan, did we stop them? आइए ना, आप भी आइए, बीजेपी वाले आइए, कौन रोक रहा है? Now, this whataboutery of the BJP, what about Bara? I'll tell you what about Bara. Did the rapes are a menace across the country, whichever state we are talking about? That's not what we are talking about.
Okay, Mr. Khera, I'm just interrupting you because I have some breaking news related to this. The Lucknow bench of the Allahabad High Court has taken suo motu cognizance of the Hathras incident. A hearing has been fixed for the 12th of October. Senior government and police officials have been asked to appear before the court. Family members of the deceased victim have also been asked to appear in court. I think this, would you welcome this, that this is now finally moved to the level of a court? A lot of people were saying that this really needed to happen to fast track the investigation. Do you welcome this, Sabha?
Yeah, Vishnu, I do indeed welcome it because look, this is not even about parties right now. I mean, it's good to see sign of life in the Congress. As a political journalist, let me just say that. But however, this is not about parties. This is just so disturbing. And I want to say, just to add to what Kishwar was saying earlier, rape and what Vikram Singh, who said it so with such great clarity, rape is really not about sex or desire. It is about power, especially gang rape of scheduled caste women. All over India, it is always an assertion of power. Except in the odd case, gang rape is showing you your place. you know. And Vishnu, just let me get back to one little point. If
Yes.
you give me this minute. You know, I began my political journey, a lot of it covering in UP. When Mayawati came to power and she was prominent, a lot of issues such as you cannot take water from this well, all of those, a lot of those injustices were getting undone. What we are seeing now, what worries me deeply beyond the politics, and that is really, we all want a more just, equal India. So there was a sort of pull back on those things. Even Chief Minister Rajnath.
No, I think that's an important point. And
that's so when we see this kind of, we are getting too many crimes against scheduled caste people and women in particular, brutal crimes which are an assertion of power of those from the upper caste. So
Shyam Prakash Jadhav, would you like to respond to that? That what we saw in this particular case, and there have been many other instances in Uttar Pradesh, the power play associated with caste and the attacks which have taken place, which have a link to caste directly, as this case, it just means that the battle to bring about equality, to ensure that this doesn't happen, atrocities against scheduled castes, that's a battle we are losing.
देखिए, ये कहना कि ये एट्रोसिटी से प्रेरित ये कोई इंसिडेंट था, ये कहना ठीक नहीं होगा, मगर हाँ, चूंकि ये शेड्यूल कास्ट लड़की के साथ में ये घटना हुई है, तो एक जो कानून है उसका पालन करते हुए उसको उस नजर से भी देखने की आवश्यकता है। और रही बात कि ये जो हम हर एक मुद्दे को रिलीजन के साथ में जोड़ करके पॉलिटिक्स करते हैं, उससे बचना चाहिए।
नहीं, पर ये पॉलिटिक्स नहीं है, ये पॉलिटिक्स नहीं है जी। श्याम प्रकाश जाटव जी, ये पॉलिटिक्स नहीं है। दिस वाज अ शेड्यूल्ड कास्ट woman who was attacked in a power play, she was raped and she was murdered. ये पॉलिटिक्स की बात अलग है, और ये शेड्यूल्ड कास्ट मेंबर के अगेंस्ट जो हत्या हुआ है, ये एक और बात है।
जाटव जी, मैं नम्रता से आपसे एक लाइन कह दूं सर, मैं बहुत, मुझे जरूर आपका भी दिल दुखा होगा। एक छोटा सा मैं लाइन कह दूं कि जब कोई अपने धर्म या जाति के वजह से मारा जाता है, तब उसको हम अवॉइड नहीं कर सकते।
होती है, हमें सब हर एक केस में इसी तरीके से सामने आना होगा। ये नहीं कि पर्टिकुलर किसी शेड्यूल कास्ट मैटर में और जो दूसरा व्यक्ति है वो उस पर्टिकुलर कास्ट से है, इस वजह से हमने उसका विरोध करना, ये ठीक नहीं है।
All right. Yes, Mr. Khera, go ahead.
Sorry, you interrupted me.
Go ahead. Yes.
Valid reason. So the difference, I said, was in the way governments respond. Did the Rajasthan government not file an FIR for 10 days in Bara, I want to ask you? Did they threaten the family, I want to ask you? Did they accuse journalists of spreading fake news, I ask you? Did they rush up last rites of the girl in Rajasthan, snatching the body from the family, I ask you? So do not compare Bara with Hathras. Whoever tries to indulge in this whataboutery is trying to help this crime, and they are standing with the criminals.
I think there's I agree with you.
Bara, as long as you want to, I don't mind. Under 164, the girls in Bara gave a statement which is for everyone to see. So please do not compare. Whoever is trying to compare is not doing justice to the daughters of this country. Number two, Mr. Shant Prakash Jadhav, आप एससी मोर्चा भारतीय जनता पार्टी के अध्यक्ष हैं, आप इतना ही जाति की राजनीति के विरुद्ध हैं, छोड़ दीजिए, इस्तीफा दे दीजिए, एससी मोर्चा भंग कर दीजिए, क्योंकि आप तो विरुद्ध हैं जाति के। तो ऐसी बात मत करिए, जिस पद पर आप बैठे हैं वो भी जाति का पद है, और वहां बैठकर आप कहते हैं कि जाति की राजनीति नहीं करनी चाहिए।
Okay, one second, Mr. Khera, let him respond to that. Go ahead, जादव जी।
शेड्यूल कास्ट होने से ये नहीं होता है कि अगर हम किसी कम्युनिटी के बीच में काम करने के लिए अगर शेड्यूल कास्ट विंग के साथ में जुड़े हुए हैं तो उसको छोड़ दें। ठीक है, हम वहां पर रह करके सभी जातियों की बात करेंगे। ये मैं शेड्यूल कास्ट हूं तो नॉन शेड्यूल कास्ट के अगेंस्ट जाऊंगा, ऐसा नहीं है। हमें काम करना होगा सर्व समाज के बीच में, और चिंता करनी होगी उस कम्युनिटी से, जिस कम्युनिटी से मैं आता हूं, शेड्यूल कास्ट कम्युनिटी से आता हूं, तो उस समाज की भी चिंता करने की आवश्यकता है। कहीं किसी तरीके से कोई अनजस्टिस ना हो किसी के साथ में, उनके नए नामकरण ना हो आप लोगों के द्वारा।
Okay, I All right. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us, because we've actually got Prashant Kumar, the ADG Law and Order Uttar Pradesh, on all of these statements which have been made on rape and apparently rape not having taken place. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us. Why do you believe that this young woman was not raped? Because she's made a statement saying that she was.
Well, it's not a matter of my belief. We have always believed the version of the victim right from the day one. The FIR was lodged under the proper section. When the victim came along with her brother and mother to police station after an hour of the incident, and we registered the FIR under proper section, and she was sent to hospital. Then she was shifted to Aligarh Muslim University Hospital. There, for the first time, on 22nd of September, she talked about the sexual assault. No, and we immediately added those sections and arrested everyone.
No, so therefore it's clear that she did make the allegation that she was raped, and yet then why are there now remarks which say that she was not raped? This was almost a dying declaration.
Yeah. It was. She told for the first time on 22nd of September, and on the same day the sections were added.
So then why is this no longer?
All the people were arrested in 2-3 days. And on 25th of September, the forensic samples were taken by doctors, and the examination was done. And then keeping into consideration her medical condition,
yes,
for better treatment, she was shifted to Delhi, and unfortunately there she expired.
But sir,
again section was changed to 302.
But sir, the post-mortem report mentions, and this is what you've been relying on. Now that mentions old healed injuries to her private parts. How old those injuries are, we don't know. Is there not a possibility that these injuries could have healed? She didn't die immediately. She died several days later. She was also being treated medically. So this being the case, how do you rule out rape, particularly if she said she was?
No. Today also I am not saying anything. What I am saying that today we have received the report of the FSL, which clearly says that there is no sperm or any other stain.
No, but there are other factors as well, sir, in this, aren't there?
Which was collected, and there are so many samples.
No, but is it not true?
The sampling was done by the doctors itself. So now we will examine the case. The investigating officer is now duty bound to consider all the evidences available and reach on some conclusion.
But is it not true, sir, that the same report that you are talking to, does not commit to rape, as it's not the cause of death? In other words, the report primarily, as I understand it, please correct me if I'm wrong, looks primarily at the cause of death, and rape may not have been the cause of death, and that there are other examinations, for example, a serological examination, which is still awaited. This being the case, in the absence of sperm or whatever else, why are we still ruling out rape?
You see, now the FSL report is final, and there is no other reports which is pending. Otherwise, we wouldn't have said anything on this point. And today we have received the report, which is all the investigation is not pointing towards rape. But as you know that she has said about the sexual assault, now all the evidences will be collected, and the investigating officer will examine it, all the evidence, and take proper action.
So have you ruled out rape completely, or is that still something that you will mention only after your investigation is entirely complete?
Sir, I have already told you that I am nobody to conclude the investigation in front of the camera.
But the investigation
it is a legal duty of the...
So the investigation is continuing and any conclusion is possible is what you are saying?
Yes, it is still continuing. Only major thing is that since the case of mass rape and these kind of things were being floated in everywhere, so it is my duty to clarify that FSL report has come and it is not pointing towards rape.
So you've said that some people twisted the matter by talking about rape to stir caste-based tension, but isn't the real issue here the murder itself and the awful caste equations in the village or this area?
We have already arrested the people, but mass rape along with murder has a different ramifications. And you must be knowing in the past 3.5 years there has been no riots, no communal disturbance, no caste tension. All the festivals have passed off peacefully. And
so no communal disturbances in Uttar Pradesh in the last 3 years.
To know that in the past
so there have been widespread communal differences in Uttar Pradesh in the last 2 years.
And festivals have been passed off peacefully. And in the crime in India report has just been published 2 days back. And in the conviction of women cases,
so I have that report
UP
with
stands first.
So the
NCRB
data
on women-related crime and child.
Right. So let's talk about let's talk about that, sir, because the NCRB data 2019, the report which has just been released, says that there have been 59,853 cases in UP, which is number 1 in total crimes against women in 2019. There are 7 states which I have data for. UP is number 1. So what are you referring to, sir?
No. Not against. You don't go by the number.
Really?
You go by the rate of crime. Crime per lakh population. I am talking that the UP is first so far as the conviction in the case of women-related crime is concerned. You cannot compare, you compare apple with apple. You cannot compare apple with peach. You cannot compare crime rate of crime in UP with some smaller states.
No, but sir, one moment, sir. Let's not play down these numbers either. You can compare, you can talk about crime rate, you can talk about prosecution. I accept that point, even though many say in UP a lot more needs to be done. But the absolute numbers are still horrific. Not just of Uttar Pradesh, all these states, Rajasthan number 2, Maharashtra, Bengal, Assam, MP, even Orissa, right? But why play down the absolute numbers?
No, I am saying that in women-related crime, so far as the conviction is concerned, we are first. We have out of 15,579 cases has been convicted. So our position is first as compared to other places. So far as rape is concerned, our stand, the crime rate in rape is 2.8 and our position is 26th out of 29 states and 7 union territories. Our number is 26th. Similarly, in murder cases, our position is 28th. Dacoity, we are 28th. In robbery, we are 23.
Sir, how many rapes have there been after this Hathras case, sir?
If you compare the crime rate, UP's performance is much better than other states.
Right.
But the law and order is such a subject which is dynamic and there is always chance of improvement. And what I am saying that the government is very sensitive for any crime. Yeah.
Well, the same government which was seen actually intimidating that family, but you spelt out what you say are high conviction rates in Uttar Pradesh. One would say the absolute numbers in terms of crimes against women absolutely horrific. But I do appreciate you speaking to us and explaining the position of the police, particularly on the issue of rape, even though those remarks are somewhat controversial. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.